Welcome from Barstow, California. Now, I'll be honest with you, on the surface, this place does not really have it going on. There's a ton of empty buildings, a ton of pollution and blight here. However, I feel like so many videos portray these towns in negative manners, and I don't want to be another one to do that. So, I'm going to try and show you some of the positives around Barstow, and I'm going to take you along for the ride. We're going to see what's here today, talk a little bit about the history of the town, and take you along for the ride. The year was 1880, and a tiny town near some silver mining camps was sprouting up at the intersection of some pioneer trails in the middle of the California desert. This area was first called Fish Pond, and then Waterman Junction. However, in 1886, this little settlement was renamed in honor of the then president of the Santa Fe Railway, William Barstow Strong. It has been Barstow ever since, and although the mining here quickly subsided, the railroad has continued to define the persona of this town. Being a busy railroad center, Barstow was growing at a time when all of the other developments in the area were declining, including the nearby ghost town of Calico, which we recently featured in another video. In 1911, the Casa del Desierto opened and would become a Harvey House hotel. Today, it is still actively in use as an Amtrak station and includes office space as well as multiple museums, which we will look at in just a moment. The original commercial district used to be in the area of the train station, but in 1925, there was a grand opening held to celebrate the new downtown area, which is where the old Barstow downtown is today. In 1926, Route 66 was established, bringing more people through the area, which continued to grow the Barstow area as a stop along this famous route. Today, Barstow is at the intersection of Interstate 40 and Interstate 15, carrying on the tradition of Barstow being a welcome stop on these vast open desert roadways. In the 1940s, the U.S. Marine Corps supply depot in the area boosted the population of Barstow, as well as the placement of the Fort Irwin Armor and Desert Training Center. Fort Irwin continues to be an active military base in the area. Fort Irwin is also home to NASA's Goldstone Deep Space Communications Complex. Throughout the downtown area, there are murals painted with scenes of the area's past. Sadly, a lot of this area is vacant and empty, but there is still enough to see down here to make the drive into this part of town. There are some cool old buildings and some shops and restaurants for you to check out. There was even a little farmer's market going on here. There are multiple museums in Barstow. 3 of them are housed in the Casa del Desierto, the Route 66 Museum, which apparently is closed indefinitely due to water damage, NASA's Goldstone Visitor Center up on the 2nd floor, which I didn't know was there or I would have gone up there, and the Western America Railroad Museum. Because it was Father's Day weekend during my visit, the indoor portion of the Railroad Museum was closed, unfortunately, but the trains outdoors were pretty neat to look at. Let me show you some of what's here. There is also a free museum farther into the residential part of town, the Mojave River Valley Museum. The lady inside was very kind and willing to answer lots of questions about the items inside, including some fossils, geological items, local historical items, information on the 20 mule teams, and a bunch of other really cool old stuff. There is also an outdoor area to walk around and see here too, with a jail cell, tractors, and an old rail car. There is also the Desert Discovery Center in town, which is home to the largest meteorite in California, and the 2nd largest in the United States, the Old Woman Meteorite. However, as is the story of my life, the center was closed when I was in town. As a regular interstate stop, a rather unique rest stop has been created near one of the main exits, the Barstow Station, built to resemble a railroad station. It has multiple fast food restaurants and gift shops. However, the most unique part of Barstow Station is the McDonald's. These railroad cars are part of the McDonald's, making this a very cool little place to eat a burger. It reminds me of the McDonald's that we filmed down in Taupo, New Zealand, where you could eat inside an old airplane. There's plenty of shopping in town, including the regular things you would expect, such as Walmart, grocery stores, and the like. However, there is also a Tanger Outlets here, for those that want a little more higher-end shopping, or to get in some shopping therapy while en route to wherever you're going on the interstate. Barstow Community College was founded in 1960 and continues to offer education in everything from healthcare to the theater arts, with a $22 million theater here that hosts regular events open to the public. While there may not be a ton to see and do in Barstow, it is a nice little town that certainly has enough to make it worth the stop, instead of just flying by on I-15. Next time you're rolling through, pull in and see what's here. If you look past the empty buildings, there is a community with a warm heart here that would happily welcome you in to take a look around. We'll see you next time somewhere else down the road.